So, yeah, 3 quarters looked pretty good in Fort Collins. What?
Well, I don't think it's coincidental that we lost Riley Snyder in the third quarter, and she went down with a sprained ankle and did not return. And the main goal when you play Colorado State is you just got to put some points on the board. You just have to score some. If you score some, you got a good chance of winning. And she's hugely important to us offensively, and that was a big blow. Um, and then it ended up going all the way down to the last minute. So I think it's pretty fair to say if we hadn't lost Riley that our chances certainly would have been better to win the game. But we talked all week with this team, and I don't like it when I'm this prophetic, But if we're gonna win on the road and we're going to beat the top teams, even at home, then we have to stop doing so many knuckleheaded things. That's just all there is to it. We're still doing a lot of good things, and we even did a lot of good things in that Colorado State game. We're still doing a lot of good things, but we've got to stop the bad things. And we're doing too many bad things to beat, the better teams and to win on the road and that kind of thing. And that's all we got left in February. So we've got to figure it out because we have a tough February that is against the top teams in the conference and more road games, and so we've got to get this figured out. They just have got to clean up those mistakes that are it's easy to say, hey, those are the mistakes of youth, but we have to stop being young. It's February. We should have learned by now. So that's the message they'll continue to get until we get this figured out.
You have an example of a knucklehead thing that.
Oh, I have all kinds. Well, we continue to have turnovers that are just like, why? Not turnovers that the defense created or we're trying to do something good and it just didn't work out. I don't have a problem with those kinds of turnovers, but they'll just be turnovers just because we either weren't fundamentally sound or still acted like we were in high school and those turnovers cost us some down the stretch. We fouled, you go the whole game, then you foul we do things like that. We foul at bad times. We gave up 2 wide open shots that were simply just not paying attention at a critical time in the game. And so it's those kinds of things that we can clean up, that are perfectly within our power to clean up, and we have to do it because we can't afford them against the better teams, and we can't afford them when you're on the road because you're never going to play, I won't say never, but it's pretty unusual that you're going to feel quite as on top of your game when you're on the road, and you always have that double whammy on the road of you're struggling to feel as much on top of your game, and the other guy feels a little better, and so that's why home court advantage is real, and Colorado State definitely felt a lot better. I mean, they were down a starter, but so we're down a couple, between Huffman and then losing Riley, and of course we don't have Springfield back either, who was at one time a starter for us, and so it's a lot that we're trying to work through. But I think if they do get that figured out and we stop doing the knuckleheaded stuff, we'll be okay. We can beat some people.
So how bad is the ankle for Snyder?
It's not that bad. I don't think it's going to be. I don't know if she'll be ready for Wednesday, but I don't think it's going to be anything long term. But we have to wait and see. She hasn't seen the trainer yet today, but that was the original. She was just too unstable to put back in, and that was okay with me. I don't think you want somebody out there, favoring, and that's when you risk other types of injury. So. That part was okay. But even when she got hurt right underneath the basket, went down, and because Colorado State had the ball, they couldn't stop play. And so eventually they, being 5-on-4, the power play worked and they scored. So that hurt us too. That was another score that didn't need to happen. And so it was every time out's a learning experience. But I still think, certainly I wish we had Cassidy. Certainly we need Riley back, all of that. But I still like who we are. I still like what this team's capable of doing. And I'm excited to see how they can finish the season and see if we can get some people.
But with the bye or open week, whatever, Saturday, would you just give her the whole week off?
I would certainly think about it with the bye coming up. Wyoming's really good. And they, especially on their home court, they're really good. We were very fortunate to beat them last year here, and we only played them once last year, and that was here, and that was a huge upset. And I'm sure they'll remember it. So we know we're going to have our hands full on Wednesday.
And then what is the word on Cassidy? Did you ever get an official?
Yes, it's ACL.
Torn ACL?
Yeah, she's finished for the season. Yeah.
Do they have, looking forward, do you think you would have her at the beginning of next season, or could it even be?
Hard to say. Happening this late in the year, it's hard to say how soon we can get her back, or what we can do, to help her potentially. It's really hard for us with Cass because she's just had such a rough career, and as I said, she loves to play and has yet to play a whole season. So I'd give anything to figure out a way for her to play a whole season at Air Force, because she loves being a part of the program, and she's such an infectious, enthusiastic person.
What was her injury as a freshman?
Broke her collarbone when in the game against Fresno. Took a real blow.
So, when you say get a chance, a full season, would there be a shot at a medical turn back with her, or?
Don't know. Really hard to say. We're just exploring every possibility. It's another one of those things, and it's just one of the things you have to deal with. We're about to play. This Wyoming team they're really good, and they're very well coached, and they just are a machine, and I give them tons of credit. But there's not too many cowboys or cowgirls on that team. They're from very surprising places to end up in Wyoming. So once again, that's just something we don't have access to, and it's just one of those things we have to deal with. But they're from all over. They're from Spain. Yeah, their lineup is. We just go by numbers because we can't pronounce any of their names. but they're really good, and so we'll have our hands full.
A lot of times when the men play there, they say their fans can be a little, for lack of better, or it's raunchy. Are they that way towards you guys as well, or have you not experienced that? Or
we didn't play them last year there, and the year before, we were still, the team everybody loved to beat up on. So I don't think we got that full dose. I anticipate that we'll get a good round of it, particularly having upset them last year. So I'm sure we'll see them in their full glory. Colorado State fans, they're not particularly nice either. So there were some of our practice guys drove down to watch the game, and there were some contentious moments up there in the stands between our practice guys and the Colorado State fans. So, I think I'm always anybody that's passionate about their women's basketball. I love you. You can say whatever you want, and we'll deal with it. But I think it's great that they get good followings.
When you took this job, did you ever think you'd have so many life lessons that be taught to your players?
Yeah, certainly not at this point. I didn't think there'd be so many life lessons for me at this point in my career. It is it's definitely just a huge challenge, but it's also just tons of fun, and it just means it's so meaningful. That's the thing I love about it. I love feeling like every day matters. Everything we do in the gym matters. These young women matter. They're making a difference, and we often get so many people who are kind, and even one of the officials before the Colorado State game came over and said some kind words to our players, and we always appreciate that, and I know they appreciate it, and so that makes it all worth it, but as I've said before, the hardest part is just having enough, like, I know we're better shooters than what our shooting percentage is. We've got the worst shooting percentage in the conference. It's not because we don't have shooters that are as good as anybody in the conference. It's because we don't have shooters who can get in the gym for hours outside of practice like everybody else does in the country. And that just, kind of breaks your heart, because it really isn't about their ability. It's just getting the shots up. And the shots are hard to come by because, they're working and taking care of whatever they have to take care of right up to the time they come down for practice. And it's pretty tough for them to get that extra time, and at least at the age that my team is right now, freshmen and sophomores. Now, I think once they're juniors and seniors, they're going to have a little more control over their time, as all the juniors and seniors do here at the academy, and I'm looking forward to that. And I think that's when they'll be able to get in the gym and, get more shots up. But shooting the ball is all about getting shots up. Anybody will tell you that. Unless you got a really broke shot, which I had, but but that's otherwise, if you got a decent form, it's just about getting shots up. And we've got a lot of kids that have really good form, and they just need to get in the gym.
Coach, you kind of alluded to it, but does it feel like when you have opposing fans heckling you and they're a little more into the game, does it feel like that was like another step for this program, that you're no longer the walkover and now they're into it?
I mean, Colorado State was so excited when they won, and we kind of said, well, I guess that shows some progress, that people are excited to beat you. And I agree. Yeah, we considering we'll the heckling is a bit of a badge of honor. It shows progress for sure. A lot of times they heckle me, and that's fine. I'm used to that. And I'm sure I'm really fun to heckle, because I don't mean to be that, outrageous sometimes, but I know that I am, and so I understand why it's an easy target.